I wasn't crying. Why do you ask?
Well, that was a movie.
Hello and welcome back to First Thoughts. I'm Simon, this is Justin, and today we're giving our first thoughts on Eternity, which is by writer-director David Franey. Never seen any of his movies before, but it's starring Miles Teller, Elizabeth Olsen, and Callum Turner. Also got roles by Divine Joy Randolph. If you don't remember, she, I think, won the Oscar for The Holdovers. She at least was nominated. She was great in that. If you haven't seen the trailer, you don't know what this is about. It's about an elderly married couple, both die a week apart, go to this holding hotel, if you will, in the afterlife, where you get to then choose what your eternity is going to be. And so he dies first a week before her, and he's waiting there so that they can choose to go to the same afterlife together. But when she shows up, plot twist, her first husband, who died 67 years earlier, has been waiting there for her as well. Oh boy, what will she choose? So, yeah, this is kind of in the same vein as that movie we didn't like earlier. Great, big, beautiful, bold, wonderful movie, whatever that was called.
Yes.
Close. It also has flashes of Adjustment Bureau. Also, I mean, with both movies, you throw out Eternal Sunshine. It's one of those kind of movies, but it's much more rom-com, I guess, than any of those others. But still kind of one of those movies that the second saw the trailer or heard about the concept, I forget which came first, I went, boy, oh boy, this is, something that if done right, I'm going to absolutely love. Now, I was nervous because the great big beautiful Bill movie, Bill Nye the Science Guy, I didn't love because I thought the execution was very frustrating and I was nervous that was going to happen again. How did you feel about this movie, Justin?
I did expect a far more serious tone to the movie.
Absolutely. Me too.
Um,
Especially coming from A24.
yeah. And honestly, I don't know whether I would have preferred that or not, but I really enjoyed this.
I will say I definitely would have enjoyed it more if it was serious. That's just my personal thing. Eternal Sunshine of the Spotlight? Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind is my favorite movie of all time, and I always get a little bit frustrated when there's a really emotional, impactful story that gets, to me, cheapened through gags. That being said, this movie was phenomenal. It really was. And I was nervous for a little bit, thinking it wasn't gonna be, because I think it's definitely front heavy with the jokes. There's jokes throughout, but I think they kind of soften or ease you into the movie and the plot with the jokes. And I think as it goes, it knows when to ease up and take a step back and go, okay, now here's a sad moment. Or not even a sad moment, more poignant than anything, just an emotional moment for you to dwell on and think about. And as the movie goes on, I think it does that more and more. And so therefore, to me, the movie as it went just kept getting better and better as it went.
Yeah.
I cried a lot today.
I'm glad I escaped this one without the waterworks. This is definitely a very enjoyable movie. Great performances all around. Interesting side characters too. I liked a lot of them. I wasn't annoyed by any of them in this, at least this movie.
I could have done less with the ACs, if I'm being honest, because they were mainly there for humor. If they were more serious characters, I wouldn't have minded them as much, but they were
exclusive humor,
yeah, almost
basically.
entirely there for humor. I'm like, I kind of expected it to be more of like, I don't know, I pictured like a 1960s or 50s style film. Actually, you know what I was thinking was like, It's a Wonderful Life, where he's there to be like, all right, now here's your journey, and I'm going to disappear and be unimportant until you need me to explain something. I was kind of expecting that, and then they kept being there to be funny, and I was just like, I don't need you here. You can go away.
See, that would have been the role if there was just one of them, but now there's two.
Now there's two of them, yes. There's a couple of moments I wanted them to explain something a little bit better. This isn't a spoiler, so I can say it. They throw out there that you are in the afterworld, because you see some people are old, some people are young, some people are in between. I didn't understand, and they didn't say it in the trailer. I was like, so why is he young but other people aren't? And then they end up saying, you present as whatever age you were happiest at.
Right.
And that's a fun thing to say and all, but then it kind of opens up the door to some things that are kind of confusing or should have been talked about, and they don't talk about it at all. And I wish they had. And there's a few things like that in this movie, and they just refuse to talk about it, which is understandable. It's easier to just not talk or explain.
Right.
And so they choose that. But there was a couple times I was like, I wish I knew, or I wish that got stated a little bit more clearly. And I can't really get into the rest of them because they're more plot details, more
Right.
spoilers. But that was, yeah, there was a couple of things where I was like, I wish we could have said something there or said something with that. But okay.
The overall outcome made sense, and I thought there was a couple other possibilities that wouldn't have been as satisfying, I feel like, but I could definitely see some director or writer making those choices to just
Yeah.
not go with the one that I was very sure they weren't going to go with.
Right, yeah, and especially because it's a writer-director that you don't know anything about going in, so
Yeah.
you're like, are they going to take an easy way out? Are they going to, it's A24, are they really going to make you hurt here? What are they going to do with it? And I was satisfied entirely with the way they went. It was definitely not entirely what I expected. I feel like some of it you could see coming, but it definitely still surprised me pleasantly. Because it's kind of like we were saying last week with the rental family, where it's like parts of it you can see coming a mile away,
Yeah.
but they threw in enough curveballs that you're like, that was worth it then. Like,
Yeah.
I wasn't just like watching my watch going like, okay, let's get to it because I know what's gonna happen. It didn't happen that way, so I appreciate that. The writing, when it took itself seriously, was extremely good. And that's where it's like my only complaint comes back to, like, I wish it took itself more seriously because some of the humor really detracted for me. Not all the humor's bad either. There's a really great montage moment with the two guys that I loved. There was some really good humor
Everybody-
that I'm happy was there. But it should have been cut down to about 25% maybe of the humor they had, in my opinion.
That's fair. There was not a person in our crowd that did not love that montage
Yes,
scene.
yes. I think that
It
was
was,
one of the best parts of the movie.
yeah,
Man,
I-
the girls behind us were very talkative, by the way.
Yeah, yeah.
They were very invested, and I appreciated that. Because there's stuff happening like, no! And then stuff happening like, yes! I'm like, yep, cool.
See,
I guess you made up your mind.
It's a nice sample of the general audience.
Yeah, no, it's funny you say the word fun about this movie, and it is, but it's also, it's designed to make you cry, and I think it does very well at that when it wants to. Like I said, maybe too many laughs for my preference, but it won me over, which is good, because I started out pretty disappointed, I'll be honest. Not immediately. Once it started throwing all the jokes at you was when I was like, okay, come on, like, this should be really good, and what are we doing? And then it won me back, and I just absolutely loved the third act of this film. The third act was phenomenal.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what are you thinking? What are you going to give it?
Honestly, I don't think I'm mad with like a 7.5. I don't think I'm mad at it.
Yeah, I think I'm there too. Part of me does want to give it that 8, but I think the humor aspect is just stopping me from going to 8. For me to go to an 8 is like me giving it the stamp of approval that this movie's like going to be a classic, is what I feel like when I give a movie an 8 or above. It's like this is a classic in a way.
Yeah, I don't know.
And I
about
don't know
is.
that I can feel that this movie's classic to me, because it kind of cheapened itself a little bit, didn't take itself seriously enough. So I think a 7.5 is good, because this is certainly a movie that I will tell people about, I'll think about, I'll probably rewatch, I'll buy it on DVD if they actually do that. Hopefully they do. It's A24, I think they do.
Do they
And
not? I guess things don't do DVD releases.
well, so this is also a streaming movie. This was Apple.
Oh yeah, true.
It was, I think Apple made it and then A24 distributed it.
Okay.
So you never know.
Yeah, with Apple, I guess not.
Apple does make DVDs though. They made DVD of Severance, the TV show.
I mean, I don't see if people are gonna buy even in a small amounts. I don't see why you wouldn't at least do it by order.
Tell that to Netflix. They don't make DVDs of anything unless it's Criterion,
Yep.
which sucks. I hate that. Anyway, so yeah, I mean, I want to watch this again, and I will, like I said, it's gonna be one of those movies that I'm gonna be thinking about for years of my life.
I think I will probably watch this again. I don't know if I have anyone else that will want to watch this movie. But there is one very particular thing I need to skim this entire movie for with a fine-tooth comb. I'm talking frame by frame. I want to read every little thing about all those other eternities. I couldn't read them all fast enough.
Yeah, a lot of the other eternities are there for
Some of them are
for jokes.
hilarious.
Yeah. Like,
and I just couldn't keep up with them.
and especially too, like with stuff people are saying in the background, like there's some pretty obvious stuff that they make jokes about, like discontinued eternities because they're no longer politically correct, and they don't straight up show you that. But there's some ones that are also overtly, obviously funny. Like, didn't you want to be in 1930s Germany but without the Nazis? And so that's like an eternity you can live in. But then also you hear stuff in the background, like there's a guy going like, why doesn't anybody want to go to library world? You know? So there's some really good stuff. Bromance world.
Yeah.
There's some really funny stuff in there. And like I said, some of the comedy is genuinely really good. If I was making this movie, I would not have thought about how to make it funny. I really would have just leaned into the philosophy of it and then the pain of it.
Yeah, I was very much expecting a dramatic, argument fest.
Maybe not arguments so much, but
Well, I mean, I'd say arguments between the guys. There'd have to be at least one argument each with Elizabeth Olsen.
Which there is.
Just, them just fighting over this choice and
because
the
it's
hesitation
so
and such.
awful to have to make that choice.
But, I definitely was expecting a dramatic movie. I don't remember how the trailer presented it. I just remember the trailer presenting that she was going to have to make the choice.
Yeah, I don't think the trailer leaned into the comedy too much. Maybe it did, and I don't remember. Because when I see trailers, I even if I'm forced to see them because I'm at the theater, I'm kind of not tuned in. I'm somewhere else mentally because I'm going to see this a bunch, and I'm going to see this movie, so I don't need to see the trailer.
Yeah.
So unless it's something that, Speak No Evil, where I saw it twice a week, every week for a year straight, then it's I could recite the entire trailer for you. I'm probably, the trailer for this, I probably saw it twice.
Yeah,
so
I think so.
I'm not really, latching onto it because I didn't pay that close attention. I just went, that looks really interesting, can't wait to see it, and then moved on.
Yeah, just super memorable concept.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, so I love this. I wanted it to be, like I said, my favorite movie is Eternal Sunshine, so it's that's always kind of the bar with these kind of movies that I'm holding it up to, and so I'm I wanted to be up there, and it didn't quite reach those levels, but I'm still very happy with the movie, and like I said, I want to watch it again, and I'll buy it if they put it on any kind of disc. But yeah, so that's what we had to think. We're going to get into spoilers now, so that should be a lot of fun. If you don't want anything spoiled, though, you should click away, go watch it, come back, and we can talk about it then. Also, by the way, I mentioned this in the last video, but in case you didn't see it, we're doing YouTube Shorts now. We're doing TikToks. We're on Instagram, so go check out all of those things. I'll have links in the description. Thanks, guys. Bye. So, spoilers. Yeah, I'll just get out of the way some of the stuff that I wanted them to kind of explain more. So, this isn't, plot holes by any stretch of the imagination. Right. I just wanted things to be discussed more. So, for example, what ends up happening is she ends up deciding, neither of you, I'm gonna spend eternity with my best friend instead. And I thought, when they said that, I thought they were actually going to go that direction because it's A24 and who knows with them. But then I was thinking, if you're going to go that direction, you need to expound on it more, which I guess should have been a dead giveaway that wasn't the way they were going. Because I was in that case, you're trying to say, personal friendship is more important than romantic relationship, which it's I disagree if you're trying to say that. But at least you got to try and say it.
Yeah, I didn't think the friend really had any impact on some sort of message there. She
just had a line there where she was I was with you through both of these relationships, and I was okay, is that the route we're going? And then they didn't expound on it, so I was okay.
No, I remember all that stuff too, and I just remember thinking at that time that she was just along for the ride. Yeah. It really just wasn't about her. She was just there for some company in this new eternity.
Right.
But, yeah, I thought there was a chance that of neither of you routes, and it seemed like they were. Yeah.
It seemed like a cop-out ending, but I wouldn't be shocked if they want a cop-out ending.
But what I thought they were trying to say there is that our relationship had a natural ending.
Yeah.
Just through them dying, And maybe that's okay. Maybe we don't need to spend eternity
Right, because they
together.
kind of said something like that too when talking about, he was like, maybe the beauty of it is that it ends, or she says that actually. But anyway, so then Miles Teller, though, has an epiphany and runs after her and says, your hair is longer now. He realizes that the happiest moment she ever had was with him, not him. With Callum, not Miles.
Yes.
And I literally just now, saying it out loud, understood how he came to that realization. Because all he says in that moment is, your hair is longer.
Yeah.
And I didn't pick up on that until now, why that made sense to him.
Because she said, yeah, I cut it after we... And then
Yeah.
it's like, oh, damn.
So I guess I'm stupid, but I was like, what did that sentence mean?
Yeah.
So, okay, maybe I'm just dumb. I'll take that one back. But anyway, so then she goes to be with Callum. I'm using the actors' names because I don't remember. Larry and...
The other one, Miles was Larry, and the other one was...
somebody.
Luke.
I should have known that. Larry and Luke. She's into L's.
I wanted to call him Louie, but...
Okay, so I'm just going to stick with actors' names. So then she goes to live in her perfect world, and then she ends up kind of coming to the conclusion of, it was kind of just a young love thing, which they do explain that, and I'm happy with that. But what bothered me was I wanted more reason to let him go, because there were plenty, they just didn't go into it. Because he was happier, frankly, if we're being honest, when he was out exploring, doing things. He was exploring his sexuality, he was sleeping. I thought he was gonna say, like, look, I know you're happier if you were free to do whatever you wanted, so go be free. And she says, I'm letting you be free, and he gets really mad at that. So I thought they were gonna then follow that up and have that conversation, and then they just didn't. And I was like, there's commentary here, there's like points to be made here, and we're just not making them. So say the shit, dude. At the very end, so then she realizes and she runs back to him, and she's running through all of these memories that it took me a while to realize they were her memories. I thought she had just gone into other people's memories for a second there, but then she ends up having the soldiers coming to her door saying, like, sorry, your husband's dead.
Yeah.
Oops. And then she goes up to, I guess, her grandma, who then says something about Larry, and I had no idea what any of that...
I could have sworn that was her dying in bed.
Was it?
And then going up to herself dying in bed.
Oh,
and then saying Larry to herself. Okay. It was kind of odd, but that's just what I thought that was.
Yeah, because downstairs was a younger self, and they were arguing about, I think, Karen and Larry getting into a fight.
Yeah, something like that.
I think they were talking about. But anyway,
she was basically flashing through her life at all points, because there was like a point where she's like, I think it was like abuse as a child or something like that. It's like, or like a parental argument, and I think
it was more of a broken home kind of situation.
It took me a few seconds to register that was like supposed to be her as a kid and not like...
Yeah, I didn't pick up on that. I was like, whose memories are these? But then anyway, long story short, she and Miles Teller run off to some unnamed eternity together. And once again, I have to fill in the blank here because they don't say it, but throughout, they're arguing about where they want to be. And then they both admit to each other that their version wasn't what they thought it was. Because they argue in the very first scene. It's a great scene when the two old versions are like, I want to go to the beach. It's nice and warm. And she's like, I want to go to the Alps or whatever because it's, it's a warm kind of cold there or whatever she says. And he's like, no, it's just cold. And then she says, you're right. It was just cold. And he's like, and you're right. The sand just gets everywhere. And so that was a really nice moment.
Of course.
And then, and irritating. So then they go off to somewhere that looks like where they lived, and I get that the messaging is supposed to be it's twofold. It's just be happy with the life you had. Stop thinking about the what ifs because you'll never be happy that way. Just be happy with the happy ending you did have.
Right.
Which is a great little message, but they don't explicitly say that. And then also the other message is they both came to the realization, which he said out loud at one point, that I don't care where we end up, I just want to be together. So that's the 2 points it's making at the end, except for it doesn't say either. It just shows them going, where are we? I don't know, looks like blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, why didn't we say any of this? And like...
You're supposed to infer that. Oh, that's their town's name. I guess they're home now.
I am torn because, like, I did end up inferring all of it, but I'm like, guarantee most people who watch it won't infer a lot of that. And I'm also guessing because maybe I'm wrong and I'm making it mean something that it didn't mean.
Honestly, with the very ending, yeah, I think we're right there. I think they did go back to what either that was a world that is just their hometown or a world that has a town that looks like their hometown. I just assume it is their hometown. Just their hometown's a world. Because it seems like there's a world for literally every little scenario, every little variation.
Yeah. But, like, because there's a line where they're like, go to one of the defunct ones because the security never checks there. So I thought they were going to go somewhere, like, not 1930s Germany, but, like, somewhere.
Yeah, like some, like, rundown.
Yeah.
Like, we can hide here, or this is,
Or
like,
better
an open
yet,
wilderness or something.
Here's a cool idea. They both go to the abyss together would have been a fun concept because it's like they literally don't care where they are as long as they're together.
Yeah.
You just spend the rest of eternity floating in the nothingness talking. I'm sure that would suck in reality, but it would have fit the point they were trying to make.
Yeah.
That would have been interesting. But yeah, so I'm not saying it's bad, but I would have liked a little bit more commentary, a little less jokes. And so there was a couple of moments where I'm like, I wish we had said that, and maybe you're worried about runtime, but maybe we could have taken out some of these dumb jokes to have more of this runtime, you know? So, I don't know. It's just little things like that that stop me from giving it the 8. Although I will say that I am very close. This is a very strong 7.5 for me. This was one of my favorite movies of the year. And, you know, more on a subjective level, because when I rate the movies, I'm trying to be objective to a degree. You can't truly be objective with art, but as much as I can be objective, from a subjective level, this is the most me movie this year, I feel like. Where it's not my favorite because they missed the mark a little bit in a couple of areas, but it's also still like the closest to my heart and what I would have wanted or would have made if I could kind of movie. So I really, really did enjoy this movie, except for a couple of dumb things here or there.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't review with objectivity. I don't believe in objectivity in matters of opinion.
Yeah, I mean, it's very tough to. I just try to think about.
I believe in mass opinion.
Yeah. Well, that's the closest you can. It's funny because ironically, you know, like the most objective you can be is to be extremely subjective and get the most subjects involved in the subjectivity. And so then hopefully all of that comes together to get to the truth, if you can even surmise that there is truth in any of it. Philosophy. So yeah, I don't know. I really did enjoy it though. The imagery was fun. Could have used a little bit more because like once you start running through the memories, I was like, where was this shit? Like, why weren't we doing this more?
Yeah,
I guess you get a little too Eternal Sunshine-y when you do stuff like that, but
it would have been a little interesting to see a bit more of their lives. I definitely could have seen each of them taking a whirl solo together.
Yeah,
just different memories at times.
I really did love, by the way, though, the way that the memories were. The actors acting it out in hand-drawn stages or whatever. That was so fun, especially when they saw the old two sitting in the car again from the first scene. I mean, and that scene, the first time I saw it, I was laughing at it. The second time I saw it, it's great filmmaking because I was bawling my eyes out. The second time, it's the same exact dialogue, just them talking about where to spend their vacation and then arguing about pretzels and shit. I was just like, oh man, I love this so much. I love it so much. I also loved when she realized that she like was part of him was in her still, because like Callum uses the same line on her that she would always use on Miles, which is like, you just enjoy complaining so much.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh shit, I guess I need Miles. I was like, getting me in a better mood. I might give this an 8. I think, though, if I rewatched it, I would get mad at the jokes all over again, though. It's just like, we don't need them. We don't.
Poor Cal, man.
But that's what I'm saying, though, is I think he would have been happier without her. I think he needed the permission. Even though he was indignant to getting it, I think he just needed the permission to go have fun.
I don't know that he would have been happier without her. But it's like, okay, when I saw that they were young, right? And there were various people's ages, my assumption, before because I don't remember if they said it in the trailer at all. I thought they got to choose. You choose the age of your life you are in. You get to choose the form you want to be in.
Sure.
And they just chose around the time that, the actors are or whatever. Even though she was the physical age that she was, that's when she was happiest, right? She still has all her memories from her life with Miles.
Right.
She's not the same person.
No,
She may look the same, but she's not. That's the issue.
She still acted old in a lot of ways.
Maybe he would be happy going around. I don't think he'd be happiest. I think he'd be happiest if he got to pick his eternity perfectly and he got to bring back whatever age she was when he left without her life with Miles.
Yeah.
You bring back her, I bet he chooses her every time versus going around. But now, this is a different person. It's her, but it's completely, they're not the same people anymore.
Yeah, I just really expected them to just say something, like put a little out there for us to be like, oh, well, he's happy because he likes swinging. Like, I thought they were going to, do that.
Yeah, because I didn't think it'd be a big issue that he slept with somebody in the 67 years, but then they just kept going. Yeah. It's like, okay, I slept with one person, okay, a few people, okay, one guy, okay, two guys, but I was just testing both times.
Both times. Also, what was with her AC and his AC clearly being a gay guy and then ending up
I know.
with the woman? I was like, this is so confusing to me.
I hadn't expected either, but
and then she's like, by the way, I'm poly. And he's like, I can't do that. I'm a one-woman man. I'm like, you've never looked at a woman that way. That was such a weird subplot. That was mildly amusing, but more just distracting than anything.
Yeah, I didn't know where that was coming from either. Yeah. But at one point, I thought they were involved in his little swinging orgy side of things.
Yeah, because it said there's a history there that's sexual, and I was just like, okay, weird.
I was just like, I guess 67 years. When you're the bartender.
Yeah, I did really enjoy though, and let me try to remember exactly what was said when she comes to the realization that was skimmed over to me, but apparently was said. Of that she was happiest when she was with Callum because of the hair, you can tell.
Yeah, she just mentioned that she cut it after they got together.
Yeah, but I completely missed the relevance of that, which is my fault. I'm an idiot. But then later, when they're arguing because she's trying to leave, and he said, "You were happiest with me," which is something that he didn't know, but I guess had been discussed at some point, because he also seemed to know that the version of you that is here is the version that was me, and so therefore you were happiest when you were with me. And then she says, just because it was one moment in my life doesn't mean that that's not what's important. I had the most happiness overall with Miles because we had a lifetime together. Right. And of course I was so happy because it was young, stupid love. Yeah. And I really loved that commentary. That was so good because everybody, the old adage is you never forget your first time or whatever, because it's like that first time falling in love is going to be glorified in a way because, like she said, you didn't have a mortgage to worry about. You didn't have kids. It's this perfect, beautiful memory, and so you just think of it as so happy, and it's like, but that's not the deepest love or the deepest happiness you have. It's just this one little moment. And so I was like, I really enjoyed that they did go there and did say that. That's where I'm like, the rest of it, I'm like, why didn't you say more? Because every time you did say something, I really liked it.
We had to fit in a couple more jokes in there.
Well, I thought he was going to become an AC. When I thought they were going the route of her actually staying with Callum, I thought that what he had learned, because they were going down the route of like, hey, I got to live out a life with her. He didn't get to, so now he gets to, and that's cool. But now what I get to do is I get to then help other people find their happiness. Because he helped them find their happiness, now that's what he wants to do for eternity, is help people find their happiness. Be an AC. I thought they were going to go that way. And then he was a bartender. I'm like, well, that's also interesting commentary, because once again, he's stealing Callum's shit.
Yeah.
He's just doing everything Callum did. He's going to the dock. he's he's fucking going to the bar. And I was like, that's an interesting little subtle thing that, once again, nobody says it, but it's there and you can read that. So I was like, that's interesting. But yeah, I really thought he was going to be an AC.
Yeah, I wasn't sure exactly what job he would have, but I figured he'd be sticking around and not going to
I
an
knew he
eternity.
wasn't going to go somewhere else.
Yeah. I figured he'd have a job. I should have thought about the bartender, because I would have been able to pick that one out had I remembered it, but I figured he'd have something.
Yeah. I did actually, for a very brief moment, get tricked, because it showed them and then it cut to the mountains, wherever they ended up going. And I thought it was going to show Miles there. I was like, that's crazy. Because, like, he just went there because of her, and he's happiest being around something that reminds him of her. And then it pans down, and it's them, too. I'm like, oh, never mind.
Yeah, because it's like, he's about to, like, they make you think he's about to make his choice of, like, what he's going to do with his eternity now that he's going to be alone.
Yeah.
And I started to think, I started to think maybe they're going to, because, okay, so I was very much convinced that she wasn't, just from walking into the movie, right? Very much convinced, once I figured out who was the longtime husband and who was died young, I figured she very much wasn't going to end up with Callum? Is that his name, right? Callum, yeah. That wasn't going to happen.
Yeah.
So I figured it was either going to be she ends up with Miles.
Or nobody.
Or nobody, or somehow it's the two of them, and I don't know how to explain that one, but they're all three in the same eternity.
And they work it out.
So when that happened, I thought he was going to show up, like, crash their eternity, and then we'd have to come to some resolution there with them all being stuck in the same world.
Yeah. It was interesting, though, because I agree. I walked in fully convinced it was going to be Miles.
Yeah.
Because, well, he's the bigger star. He was first build. But also because it made the most sense, because what they end up saying is what I was thinking is, like, the first husband was young puppy love. Like, it doesn't mean anything. And sure, it sucks that it didn't last long enough.
Yeah.
But, like, she lived with this other guy 65 years.
Yeah.
You can't just say no to that. And even if it's frustrating, and it's like, but the fact that you went through frustrating times made that love deeper. This other guy, you saw right away, like, they didn't even know each other anymore. And they're like running out of things to say. All they can say is, man, you're hot. Yeah, you too. And then they would go silent because there was nothing else that they knew to say. And so, like, right away, I'm like, obviously, even before you walk in, like you said, you just like, yeah, totally Miles Teller. But it had me convinced they were going to go the other route. And I'd give it props for that, because I was like, oh, okay, that's a really bold choice. It's interesting. And then when it switched to, because both the Neither and the Callum endings both tricked me for a moment, where I was like, all right, we're doing this. Okay, cool. And both times I was upset, but both times I was like, all right, sure. And then I was like, the second you saw it was going to go back toward Miles, because the movie's still going, you're like, well, there's only one option left. I was so happy, because I'm like, good, that is what should happen. But they made the moment, like, painful enough to show that it wasn't an easy decision. Just because it's the right one doesn't mean it was going to feel good, like they said.
Right.
So, yeah, I really did enjoy the way it worked through all those options, because it's not... It's obviously not an easy decision. If that actually was to happen to somebody, that would suck. So, yeah, I think that they actually earned the ending, which I appreciate. It wasn't just like all right, well, I gotta pick one, so you know.
Man, I feel bad for Callum. I feel bad for him for being stuck in that mountain eternity in case he doesn't actually want to be in there.
But that's the thing that I wish they had said was, I think he was happy there. I think he liked that ski life. He was doing stuff without her half the time anyway. Yeah. And I think that's why I wish they had said that, was like, he's happy with these other couples. He's happy doing his own thing.
But I feel like but I get that he was happy and he's social there and all that.
I'm saying it's more than social.
I think he'll have, well, I mean, now he's going to be, more than social. But I feel like he'll have an okay life
You can find other people that their perfect life is to have open relationships. You saw that with the two ACs. Maybe they should go to the mountain world with him.
Hey, maybe they can jump between eternities for a little bit.
I don't think they're allowed.
No, probably not. But, they can still get it. But, I very much felt that he chose Mountain World because of her. Like, how Miles was potentially going to choose Mountain World because of her.
Yeah.
So I figured that was just...
That's what I'm saying. You're right. That is what they said. I'm saying I wish... And my headcanon is that this.
Yeah.
Was that he wanted it and he's happy. And he seemed, though, because he did. He was like, he wanted to ski every day. And he loved the 90s ski jackets and shit. Like,
Yeah,
he was
yeah.
all in.
Yeah, they both might have been. The mountains might have been their thing.
Yeah.
But just in case it wasn't, he's stuck there now.
He is stuck there, yeah. Yeah, he would have gone to Nazi world if he could have. Oh, God.
Hey, it's discontinued. All right. It's never gonna be more people. You could take it over.
Yeah, I really wanted them to go over some of the discontinued worlds. They weren't brave enough, though.
No.
They're just like, that's not PC, we can't talk about it. I'm like, but it would be funny. It'd be really funny to talk about it.
No, we'll just talk about some of the occupied
Slave
ones.
world.
What was it? The No Men world.
Oh,
Number-
yeah, because
number-
that's so PC
Number
now.
443 filled. 444 coming soon.
Yeah. God. That moment made me go, was this written by a woman? Like, yeah.
But yeah, I definitely need to go back and see all those other eternities.
Mm-hmm.
Some of those were so freaking funny. What was like one like the infantilism world?
Yeah,
They were
this
talking
could
about
be
breast
you, and
milk.
it's a baby being held. And it's just
Yeah.
like, oh, okay.
I could have sworn I heard the lines like "We offer breast milk" or something like that.
Oh,
Or we.
I didn't hear that.
I
Oh,
swear I could have heard something because it was in the infantilism world. I'm like,
God. Ooh.
yeah, I guess that comes with it. This must have
Yeah, well, that's the thing with everybody's personal heaven. There's some weird fantasies.
And see, that's
boy.
that's the interesting thing about this concept because it's like I've seen
Yeah, there's no morals, but there are morals. But
Yeah.
the morals are subjective to whatever it is at the time in the world.
Oh, yeah.
That doesn't make sense.
It doesn't matter how you were on Earth, and this eternity still seems completely time locked to Earth.
Yeah, there's no logic being used in this movie. That's what I say. Like you just don't explain shit because it's easier.
It is a really interesting afterlife concept though.
Yeah,
But I just those worlds were so freaking funny at times.
yeah. You can't have an afterlife that has subjective morality. It doesn't work anymore. There has to be an objective truth somewhere. And they avoided that and therefore poked a bunch of holes in the logic of the movie.
Listen. They don't want to state any objective truths here, right?
That's fine, I get why.
They're not Mel Gibson. Okay.
Dude, I love the guy trying to escape museum world. I can't look at another painting. I can't do it. It's so
I chose
boring.
wrong.
It's so boring.
See, that guy, I wholeheartedly believe that guy fucked up, and he was looking for Night at the Museum World,
Yeah.
and he chose Museum World.
No, I think
Big difference.
I think he was just a pretentious asshole and chose the one that would make him look best. And then he was just like, I can't do it anymore. I can't. No.
I think you could see any exhibit you want, presumably, in Museum World.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's the same exhibit for eternity. That'd just be insane.
I would assume it's just endless museums. But still, that would get boring. Like, to me, I don't like museums, so I would get bored out of my mind.
I'd have to have like 67 versions of like the Please Touch Museum. You know, the Air and Space Smithsonian.
Yeah.
Does the
Yeah.
flight simulator come with? Maybe
I guess if there was like really niche museums, because like the Stoogium, I've gone to that a bunch of times.
What's that?
It's a Three Stooges museum.
Oh gosh.
And it's like, so if you had really niche things like that, yeah, okay. But even so, I'd probably get bored after a year.
Yes. Eternity would be crazy.
Yeah. No matter what, the not being able to change your mind at any point is hell to
Yeah,
me.
that's-
No matter what choice you make, it sucks.
That's crazy. I don't know if
Eternity sucks in this universe.
I'd have to really, really like one area.
You'd have to really, really like one person too, is the idea. It's like this concept of the afterlife only makes sense if you really are happy and madly in love with somebody.
Either that or I'm perfectly fine being alone, meeting strangers forever.
Yeah, and doing the same niche thing over and over and over again for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Like skiing. I mean, I like snowboarding as much as the next guy, but I would get bored of that after like 5 days.
I feel like I could definitely have a place by the ocean, but God, I'd need some little stuff to do.
Yeah.
Do I put some equipment in the ocean too? I get a jet ski out of this deal?
Because like, if you ask me my
Get
favorite activity to do by myself. Hold on. Not that.
Listen, that could be a world. I don't want to find out when it's fine, but
It's a very moist world.
yeah.
A lot of tissues. Fuck. I was gonna say go to the movies. I really enjoy watching movies by myself.
Yeah.
You can leave anytime you want. The door's there. But even that, I would want breaks like, because watching more than a couple movies in a day, and I'm gonna get bored regardless of how good the movies are. But I think that would probably be my best shot, because it's like, if I went to movie theater world, there's other things to do there too. Like, you don't have to spend all the time in the movie theater. Like, they weren't all the time skiing. They were in the mountains, so they could go hiking, they could go to the creek, they could go skiing, they could do whatever. So
Yeah.
I think I would have to, like, it would be like, maybe it would be more along the lines of like Mall World,
I was
because then
gonna
you could
say.
get a food court, you could get like games,
Yeah.
you could get a movie theater in there. Mall of America World, that's where I want to be, so I
Yeah.
can ski as well. There's like laser tag and shit.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you limit yourself to just a movie theater. Now you're gonna be out in concession. You might have a little arcade section,
Yeah,
and you
yeah.
might have a bar. You're gonna be back in those seats.
Ooh, I didn't even think about bar. I want to go to Bar World. Just get blackout drunk every day at 6 a.m.
Yeah.
Wake up and do it again. But no, I think, because like that's realistically, like, it's something that like every cinephile is so upset about, is like, you can't watch every movie in your lifetime. It's just impossible. So I could literally watch every movie. The sad part is, I'd still run out eventually. Actually, that's not
Nah.
true, because assuming it keeps getting updated,
I would think so.
then, I mean,
It's still in real time with Earth. You'd
Yeah.
get to a point where you'd have to be watching the next day's movies,
yeah.
just the ones that get released that day. If there's none.
Yeah, I wonder how
You're
many
fucked.
movies, I wonder how many movies get put out a year, though. It's probably hundreds. So it might be a new movie every day.
Well, okay, so like we're talking movie world, right?
Yeah.
So what's my restrictions on movies? Does this have to be a movie that would have been placed in theaters, or just a movie
No,
in general?
It's just all movies.
So then we're you say hundreds. I mean, we must be talking thousands. Think of
I
all
was-
the home movies, the amateur
Okay, well, I wasn't
movies,
including
the
that.
professional movies.
I was
And this-
including theatrically released, or not theatrically, like, but professional studio film movies.
Okay. Then we might
But
be
hey,
over
why
hundreds.
not open it up to YouTube as well somehow?
And then listen,
hey, go to the Apple Store in the mall. We'll go on YouTube all day.
When we say hundreds, right?
Mm-hmm.
We talking worldwide, or we just talking USA?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
hundreds worldwide. Okay.
yeah.
was gonna say.
I was actually shocked. I remember looking it up, and granted, the number goes up every year,
Right.
except for during COVID, it went down. But the number of new movies out every year was in the hundreds. I was expecting it to be in the thousands, but it's in the hundreds. Maybe it's in the thousands by now, because I think it was upper hundreds when I checked. But regardless, you'd never run out of movies, even if, I mean, because, one, you have a 100-year backlog to catch up on.
Yeah.
Granted, it's eternity. And then what happens when the world explodes? What happens when the world's over and no more movies are being made? Does eternity still keep going? How do you base... But, like, then there's no new people coming into eternity, and then... Well,
Yeah, I guess everywhere else
and
discontinued.
are there aliens? We didn't see any aliens coming into eternity. Are we racist against aliens?
No, it's just humans the only ones. We're all good.
It's like the
and-
Bible.
And no animals either.
Yeah, what the fuck?
Unless you choose animals in your world.
No animals?
Yes.
What is
Labrador
this?
Retriever world. Yes.
There'll be a...
I'm gonna have
There's a
like,
pet store at my mall
I'm
world.
gonna have like 20 of them.
There's a pet store at my mall world. It's fine.
I've always wanted to be dogpiled by like 20 labs. That's the dream.
I've always wanted like a pet lion, and that was always my vision of heaven. But there's no zoo at Mall World, so I don't know how I'm getting a lion.
Well, listen, have you looked at every single mall ever?
I haven't, and I don't know. Does it have to be a literal mall, or can it be a fictional mall I made up? Because maybe my fictional mall that I made up has a zoo.
Do strip malls count too?
I don't. Why would I need it to? I feel like strip malls aren't benefiting me in any way.
Hey, you got outdoor space. They could change out stores. You never know what you might be able to grab from a random strip mall.
Not a lion.
I don't know.
No, yeah, I think Mall World is the way to go. You get the most diversity there, and I would probably spend most of it watching movies, but then at the same time, I'd get sick of them, so I'd go months at a time where I would do nothing but, like, hang out at the Apple Store on YouTube or something.
You get yourself a round one there.
Yeah, GameStop, play some video games. Yeah. This is the way.
Have a
This
crazy
is the way.
amount of fashion, crazy amount of food.
Ooh.
As long as you have people to do the
The
cooking.
problem is the food isn't going to be great. Unless, I mean, I guess some malls don't just have the food court. They usually have a couple of restaurants attached too.
I mean, yeah, like, shoot, we got KOP. Just,
Yeah.
they've got actual restaurants that are
Yeah.
attached to the mall.
Yeah.
They've got the regular food court. They've got the fancier food court.
And and then they'll have like Cheesecake Factory
Yeah.
attached or something.
That's in the mall. Yeah.
Yeah. Dude, you know what was a missed opportunity? Nobody in the movie mentioned like zombie apocalypse world. That would be such a fun universe to live in forever, where you can't die. You're just, I'm sure it would get boring eventually, but everything would get boring eventually. But imagine spending eternity just fighting zombies and shit. Oh, dude, that would be so much fun.
So
Why wasn't there a pirate world? Why wasn't there like medieval times world?
Listen, I'm sure there were.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not zombie apocalypse, but I'm sure the rest of these worlds were absolutely there.
Yeah.
It's just in the background somewhere.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, Heist World.
Ooh.
I got some nasty.
I want to see
heist
these
skills.
other movies now.
Yeah. Remember, now, she wasn't in eternity at the time. Did she get slapped? Somebody got slapped.
A couple people got
They
slapped.
felt pain.
Yeah.
We need to talk about that when it comes to the zombie apocalypse world. Because maybe I can't die, but do
Well,
I
you could feel
regenerate?
the
Do I
pain. Yeah,
feel pain?
I think, yeah, you regenerate. Sure, it resets at the beginning of every day, I'm sure. Well, or something. I don't know. But, like, I feel like the pain is an incentive to keep it fun. Because if nothing can happen to you, it's boring. You need a reason to have that fear, that adrenaline. And the pain is a good motivator.
You know, the pain's a good motivator. Can I limit it a little bit? Like, all right, when they start to tear my arm off, all right, so let me feel like the first, 10 seconds of that, and then,
No, Justin,
get
that's
rid of
why
the
you always
rest.
leave one bullet in the gun.
That's true.
You take yourself out,
That's true.
reset the level, start over.
That's absolute first instinct in the zombie apocalypse. So, hey, I ain't making it, guys.
If I ever make a zombie movie, I'm gonna have that where there's people like hiding out somewhere. And there's like the door bursts open and somebody immediately just shoots himself in the head, and it's just a random guy. It's not a zombie that came in. And like, Jim.
This is why we can't give everybody guns. Trigger discipline people.
But like, okay, how big are these worlds? Because could you go to like Star Wars world, and then you just have the entire
I think
Star
so.
Wars universe?
That's what
Star
they
Trek
seem,
world?
That's kind of what they seem like they're making the house out to be. Seems like there's no
Ooh.
limitations except for you can't populate
Dude,
it.
Hobbiton world.
Hobbiton.
But if you say Hobbiton world, would then it end at Hobbiton and you couldn't go to like Rivendell or something? Because I gotta bang an elf. That's on the bucket list. Hobbits are great and all,
So I guess
but
we gotta get the whole
yeah,
the
all
whole
of Middle
world,
Earth.
Yeah, the whole Middle Earth
Yeah.
world. We gotta pick the right time too.
Yes,
Yeah.
cannot go during Mordor's reign.
We get to be very specific with it. Remember, 1930s Germany is
Yeah.
without the Nazis.
Yeah, so I would go Frodo era, whatever time frame that is. I'm not that big of a nerd, and then say without
Yeah?
Sauron or Saruman. Yeah.
None of those works either.
Yeah, dude, this review is falling to shit. We've talked about nothing for like 20 minutes.
So we were talking about one of the most important aspects of this movie.
We need to get fodder for
fun
these
these worlds
TikToks. Anyway, we enjoyed this movie.
Very good.
Go watch it. It's fun. Support A24 because they're one of the few people making consistently good movies. Granted, I believe Apple made this and they just distributed it. But either way, Apple has been making good movies too. So support them both. I'm dying. Ugh. Bye.
Bye.